All right, welcome to our presentation for Marketing Skills for Newbies. That is the name for our project for this semester for the marketing campaign. We chose this just because we are all going into some aspect of business, and that's one thing that a lot of startup companies have struggled with. Members of Group C that have kind of helped bring this together, they're all on screen with me. Brandon LaRue, he did the podcast, a lot of the recordings for this. He is very talented in that aspect. John Holmes, he was very comical throughout the whole thing, especially with, he was actually very key in our ad campaigns as far as finding good and bad examples. You might remember him from the podcast. Sarah Roundtree, she actually ran our Instagram account. And got that up and going and started and did a lot of good posts there. And then Sophia did a lot of our back research. She was really good at that and finding good sources for us and helping out and collaborating in our team meetings. And my name is Jordan McNabb. I actually ran a lot of the YouTube campaign and created a lot of videos there. We wouldn't be anywhere without the research and all the group effort that we've had. So it's been an amazing experience. So the overview of the project, we're just going to kind of have a group conversation about all this. So pretty much what we wanted to do is we wanted to create this using 3 channels of communication. Those 3 channels were actually going to be Instagram, podcast channel, as well as YouTube. So we wanted to use those 3, and they intertwined actually mainly on Instagram because everybody these days uses Instagram. It's the main social media campaign.
Yeah, I liked doing the Instagram a lot just because I feel like you said, everybody uses Instagram, whether it's for like work or it's for pleasure or fun or whatever. It's easy to use. It's like a good time killer, like if anything else. I don't know how many ads a day I see scrolling through my Instagram, whether it's something my friends have posted or it's like a paid for ad. So I feel like Instagram's a great platform, and I mean, it's connected to Facebook. It's owned by Facebook, right? So there's so many people. It's hard to only have one and not the other when it comes to those two. And I know that we kind of debated back and forth about like what platforms we were going to use, but I think the 3 that we chose were really good. Like I feel like those are so popular right now in like the culture and everything.
Right.
So
especially YouTube being like one of the main like search engines nowadays. Like people don't think about it, but everybody's on YouTube, Instagram, and podcasts. I mean, they're linked to Instagram, so everybody's doing like Instagram TV and stuff. So it all like revolves.
Yeah,
it's kind of nice. Words.
True. We also wanted to cover the effective uses of marketing in this campaign. So using those 3 platforms, we all collaborated together. We got a lot of information together. We reduced it to small segments. We did do one big segment, that was the podcast that we all got together and recorded. But other than that, we actually kept the YouTube videos pretty short. It was, I think, the longest one. What was that, guys? Like 5 minutes?
Yeah,
I think so.
So we kept
bite size.
They were short, but they're very like informational.
Yeah, I think if we think about it these days, if you go on YouTube, you don't want this big, long, informational video. You want like short and sweet. And so that was one of the key things that we wanted to make sure happened when we were doing those. And especially Instagram, I think we just did short little snippets and made sure it was easy to understand. So
yeah, and I think like with the shorter videos, when you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, you're not going to watch a 30-minute video, like you said. On YouTube, a longer video may be something someone's looking for. So like it's good to have a little bit of both when it comes to those for sure.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing to help others understand as well, is that when you're marketing, keep it short and simple. You don't have to do this big, long ads and so forth. So
Right, and I think by taking it by those small little bite-sized 30-second chunks, it's probably more digestible to the viewer.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Instead of like a huge overload of information.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think one of the biggest purposes and objectives that we had was creating something that was more user-friendly to somebody that was brand new, so they could get the information they need, the key points to marketing, so they could further use that in their campaigns to develop a marketing campaign and to effectively use that and execute it. A lot of things was actually like relating to the customer's emotions, I think was the biggest push for us in our videos. So one of the biggest techniques was to stimulate growth in their target market. So we focused on them with the emotions, actually finding out what people wanted. So some of those things was doing back research, who's going to be using the product. So who's going to be using the product or service that they're going to be using, and tying that to the emotions of the people. As they did that, they were able to narrow down ads or even the platforms that they were able to use. I think one of the things that Sarah brought up when we were collaborating was at her dental office, of how they tracked where they were hearing about their company, like how they were hearing about their services.
Yeah, like what we do is every new patient that walks in the door, they fill out their new patient paperwork, and we say, how did you hear about us? And whether it's like a referral from a friend or family member, whether they drove by, Instagram, we have Facebook ads, we have all of that going, and it really helps us kind of see like what like age range is coming in based on like Facebook, or what age range is coming in based on Instagram. So it really helps us kind of target like, okay, should we be spending our like time and effort into Instagram ads or Facebook ads, or do we need to do more like local stuff? Do we need to go drop flyers off at the elementary school? Like, what is going to be the best way for us? And so that's kind of where my thought on social media being so important is the content that's created and what's put out there, and what people send to their friends or their neighbors, or like save or whatever, flag, bookmark, what works the best there for sure is a really big like part of our whole campaign, I think.
I think one of the biggest.
Sorry.
No.
And just like the good and bad examples of marketing, like those helped a ton too, especially when it comes to social media, because if it's a bad campaign, it's getting plastered everywhere, right? So we want a good campaign that's plastered everywhere, not like, haha, look at this company that has this joke of an image all over the place with their name. Like, that's crazy. So it's good to kind of have that knowledge and that background of kind of being aware of all of that as well.
That was probably the most fun thing to look up.
It was.
What's the good and bad things, because when you look at the bad ones, you can laugh but also think about like, this is something that someone really believed would actually work as far as a marketing campaign. And one of the things that one of the best ways we can learn is by looking back at history and seeing how people have reacted to things in the past.
Right.
And along with the bad things, there were some really good ones that some of them I didn't even know about, but after thinking about what kind of message they were presenting with these awesome marketing campaigns, it really makes an impact to where I think about how I'm influenced today by some of these things that I know are very popular, and I didn't know that they're so popular, or that I'm so apt to think of a specific thing because of how successful ad campaigns were too.
Right.
In the past. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like with soap, for instance, what's the first one you think of? Dove, just because they had such a huge marketing campaign to fight for real beauty or whatever it was. But, one of those things where it was something that was used in the past that ended up doing such a good thing in the future.
Yeah. Definitely remember the good ones and the bad ones for sure. So.
And I think it was a great option that we used a podcast, to bring relevant technology to the campaign to reach out to a further audience. I know podcasts are taking off. In fact, they're expected to rise over 20% over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So I think by utilizing, that podcast with bringing out good and bad examples, as well as other social media to kind of tie everything together to reach a further audience.
True. I actually didn't even realize about podcasts until we started this, and then I started looking into other all my favorite things, and it's like, there's a podcast for this, there's a podcast for that. And it's like, what? So it does definitely broaden the market. It actually allows you to get more information while you're just listening, as opposed to watching something maybe at work while you're doing a task and so forth. So I think that is a good point. So, a lot of things that we had to research was actually our audience. So that's actually one of the things we talked about in our marketing in our marketing videos, was audience analysis. We ourselves even had to research who we were presenting to.
We debated a lot about this one.
Yeah, we actually did. We actually had to get some feedback from our professor, because I think we actually were very narrow at the beginning, if you remember right, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, poof.
You just thought right off the bat that you're going to have anybody and everybody with an internet connection is going to be able to see that. But then once you have to think more specific of who's actually going to want to see your information with that internet connection, so you can kind of get down to the narrow and figure out, people who are 16 to 35 who are interested in starting a company, or business owners who need more traffic are going to want to have some more social media marketing tips and practices to help them get them on the map.
Yeah, and that age range, social media is way more relevant to who they're probably marketing anyway. So it's just an easier way to narrow things down and really lock into who we need to get a hold of.
Yeah. Especially when they're searching, they're going to search in, boom, marketing videos, and then whatever pulls up. So definitely helped us kind of narrow down the age range, so we can make sure that our content was pretty specific to those people. So a lot of our key messages in those, I think that one of the biggest questions that stood out for me, that a lot of people were going to asking, just talking about searching just in that YouTube, we've all done it. How to change a tire, how to change an air filter in your car. One of the biggest questions is, why is marketing important? Why is that important for me to get on the map? That's something that somebody's going to type into YouTube and try to get 1,000 to 10,000 videos, all varying in range. A lot of them are going to be longer. We wanted to keep that short. So that was one of our key points and messages, was why was marketing important to them?
Yeah. And just how much marketing really does create relationships with people and your business or product that you're marketing. People want something that's personable and something that they can kind of connect to. They don't want to think they're talking to a robot. They want person to person. They want to feel like they're important. They want to feel that they're a part of something important, not just another customer or just another person to purchase a product or be a consumer. They don't want to be marketed that way. So,
right.
And really the way to find success along with creating that relationship is getting people to talk about what you're presenting to people. Because really with society, how we work is we are social beings. We rely on each other to survive. That's like the number one most important thing is what we do. For what we do is we want to survive. And so we're going to rely on each other to figure out ways that we can improve our lives, ways that we can make our lives easier. And we talk to each other all the time about like, well, what about this? Do you like this product or service? Or where should I go to find this service that I need?
Right.
And that's really where the marketing comes in, because when you get the word out, people are very much more apt to talk about what they've seen in marketing. And they also are more apt to talk about things that they've had good experiences with.
And also like good things about the company too. I mean, look at their involvement in the community, what they've done for people. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me is like, it's not just about products, it's about what that company is doing. If they're not serving the people, I mean, you look at, for example, I hate to bring this up, but like Wells Fargo and how that transpired with them using their people to get like 6-8 accounts in a household when they didn't need it just to boost shares. That dropped their trust like for people, like with their customers so fast. So, I mean, that's important as a company when they're marketing to make sure that their image is something that they want to keep. So, don't be shady.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, and that kind of segues into the channels that we were using. So we Instagram was a big thing, and actually Sarah spearheaded it for us and got it organized, because that was an undertaking because I don't use Instagram very often.
Same.
I'm like, I'll scroll through it, but like uploading videos and stuff, that was a struggle for me. So I think that was one of Sarah's strong points.
It's so useful. Like it's really interesting the way that hashtags work and the way that like you use certain content to like boost your search engine optimization. There's so much more of like puzzle pieces to all of the Instagram, the podcasts, the YouTubes, anything like that on the internet that you really have to like be paying attention to, like little intricate pieces just to work together to really make you relevant on the internet. Because like you said earlier, Jordan, there's tens and thousands of videos on the same topic. So what are you doing differently than everybody else that's really going to make you stand out from everybody else talking about the same stuff? So.
Yep. And then the podcast, Brandon talked about it earlier, like that's the biggest growing realm for social media. And then YouTube, we've already kind of touched base on that as well, that everybody's on YouTube. I mean, whether it's like videos of cats, you know, everybody's on there.
There's so many users
that's
on
the
there.
biggest example. But, you know, those were our main channels of communication for this. So we've covered quite a bit on there. We just wanted to go very quickly about our greatest success and the lessons we learned. For me, the biggest lesson I learned was actually learning how to do YouTube video from scratch. I've never done that before as far as like doing a slideshow presentation, putting music to it. Brandon and I, even with our search engine video, that was a trial and error.
That was a fun one.
We had a lot of struggles on that. But then once we got it, that actually paved the way actually for the rest of our communications campaign. It made it very, very, very happy. So that was actually my lesson learned and greatest success for this semester. So
yeah, we did great as a team. We had a lot of great meetings. We communicated really well through text messages and emails and Google Documents. And I think that was our greatest success, is like being able to execute all of our projects well.
Yeah.
We were
Agreed.
great at communication.
Yeah. I think one of our successes also was using all of our individual strengths all together to make this really great project. Yeah. You know, some people were better with technology, some are better at organizing, some are better with research. So just using all our strengths was really good.
Wait.
So, well, that's all we have for you guys. We appreciate the lessons learned, and we appreciate all the hard work that's gone into this. And from there, have a great rest of your semester.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.